What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another installment of the Dark Side Podcast. I'm David Viana.
I'm Matt Elias.
And boy,
episode 33 of the Dark Side Podcast.
What
Welcome
a week
back.
It's been.
Yeah, it's been a week.
A lot of events have been taking place.
I was in Yellowstone all week.
I was here.
Holding it down.
Holding the city down.
Yep. What's been going on in Pittsburgh while I was gone? Quick updates.
Like nothing really. Like the regatta got canceled because of poor planning, basically. Yeah. And if anyone knows, it's like a big boat thing that we do here every year.
Gathering of boats.
Yeah.
Canceled for poor planning.
Yeah. The best, basically, that's literally like the only reason they could come up with it.
That's like the reason they gave.
Yeah. Because it was just poor planning altogether, I guess. And I thought they came close to doing the same thing last year. Like they fucked up something with it last year. But yeah, this is the first year they're not having it for a while, I think.
Can you do that? Can you just cancel because you don't have a plan? Like when people, when you agree to do something.
I mean, I guess if you don't do the shit in time, it's like.
But can you say that? Is that a real accepted excuse?
I mean, it's not accepted. It's just
I guess not.
I guess it's like the most honest way of saying we fucked up.
Yeah,
like
at
least they're being honest with you and like just being like, oh yeah, well the city like double booked the venue, like all that shit, because that could be worse. That could be so much worse. Like, but it is funny as hell.
It's like we were gonna have this event, but we just didn't.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
And then the city paper does like every year like a best of Pittsburgh and stuff. The winners got announced from that. It was really cool. Like some people that like we know are affiliated with won some stuff, so that's really like cool and everything for them. Congrats on them. The one thing that kind of bothered me about this, and I'll probably get hate from this from people like actually in Pittsburgh and stuff, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna voice my opinion about this. Best local hip hop artist this year. They gave the number one spot to Mac Miller. Now.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. I respect. Like, I understand why they did it. He was one of the local like people who made it out and made a bigger name for himself.
He sure did.
Like, he's a well-known name around the world. I completely understand that. Like, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, that's not what that is. It's not what that contest is, that I understand like people will probably get like people felt like, okay, that's cool that like the city did this, they're recognizing Mac Miller, but do it in like another way that's not taking away like spotlight from someone else that could be trying to work his way up. Because, there's been events in Mac Miller's name ever since, and there probably will still be throughout the years. Right. Like for either his birthday, date of death, whatever. Right. And I'm not shitting on the dude's name like in any sort of way right now. This is not out of hate. I personally didn't like his music, and this is not why I'm saying that at all. I'm saying it because literally you're just taking the spotlight away from someone who's out there grinding. And I know quite a few people who are out here still trying to do something with their music and stuff. And it just takes away from that. Like you literally left Mac Miller as the number one spot and gave two other people in the top three. So I had a problem with that. And I've been wanting to voice it a little bit without in a way like this where I can describe it a little bit more and not like me coming off as a dick because I'm talking shit on Mac Miller.
In a tweet or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just, I had a bit of a problem with that, and I get that the foundation, like the Mac Miller Foundation was like a big thing with that, but it's not what that is for. It's not to promote a remembrance thing. We get it. Like my whole thing, like, I don't know. I'm not going to go any further into it. That's basically my opinion on it, Yeah. So it is what it is.
For sure. Yeah, you're right. I think I agree with you, actually. Yeah, I didn't even know about this until you told me about it. Yeah, but you could that award could go to give somebody a little exposure, right? Who is currently now trying to work their way up, and it could be the next Mac Miller.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the dude who took number two was either number one last year or in the top three. Still, so he was still like holding it down in the top spot and everything. But I'm pretty sure that I forget off the top of my head. I think it was like Benji was the third dude or whatever. And I'm pretty sure he didn't get it last year. So he's been getting a little bit more notoriety around the city and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was just like, I don't know. That just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to say it was corny in a way, but in a way it kind of was. Like,
it was corny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like sappy.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah,
like,
I feel
I don't know. We've held a lot of remembrance things in his name already, and we'll continue to, definitely. So let's leave it at that and not put it, like, make it interject with other things like that is like taking names, like taking the name away from someone else, basically. So that's all I got to say on that.
Yeah. All right. So the regatta canceled. Hip hop award to a dead guy.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to talk about this Epstein thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been...
Jeffrey
the internet's been going wild with
Epstein. Yeah, the internet really has.
I mean, I knew it was coming. Like, I knew the dude...
You mean the suicide? Like the death?
The suicide?
Yeah, okay.
I knew that. I knew he wasn't going to live, dude. The list of people that he knew, and probably all the stuff that he had on said people, like, it was just a matter of time. Like,
I mean,
you know...
It's so easy to go there, and that's why... All right, so let's just take it back and explain, because maybe not everybody knows the whole story with Epstein and stuff. So he committed suicide in federal custody. I guess we could work it backwards.
Yeah.
Do a little Memento style.
Oh, yeah. Good. I like Memento.
A little Tarantino in honor of the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Did you see that yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
God damn it.
I haven't had a chance. It was in Yellowstone. I didn't even have cell phone service.
They don't have a theater in Yellowstone?
They did, but all they were showing was Lion King.
That sucks.
And one other movie. I can't remember what it was.
Damn.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You need to see that. I've seen it twice already.
Yeah. All right. I want to see it. But all right. So Epstein kills himself in federal lockup, New York City. He's found dead.
While being watched, by the way.
Well, he wasn't being watched at that time.
I thought he was.
They were... Okay, so there's the guards who were supposed to be watching him were, according to what I read, and I've been reading all Associated Press updates about it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is the best news app. It's my favorite. No spin, boring as hell, just facts. That's what, it's good stuff, and it's free. But yeah, so the guards who were supposed to be watching him in federal lockup, this is a high profile sex offender, who is like, he was on suicide watch, and that's another thing. He was on suicide watch up until the day before he died. He was taken off suicide watch the day before. So that's, a lot of people are like, how can you... It's obvious that this guy would be a suicide risk given... I mean, there were like tons and tons of accusers of his and witnesses who were going to testify. And I think I think they just had like 3 or 5 who were going to come and testify.
Yeah.
But they had their pick, so they picked the strongest ones. He was in trouble.
Yeah, he was going down no matter what.
So he was a suicide risk for, I'm sure they evaluated him and stuff too, but they took him off suicide watch. The guards who were on duty there watching him were supposedly stretched super thin. They were understaffed and on extreme overtime, like working like super long shifts and stuff. And then there was this other thing, another fact about that part of it, Associated Press, I think it was Associated Press, because I was in Yellowstone just reading the news like in the morning and at night.
Yeah.
But one of them said...
What else can you do there?
Hike, but no news during that.
You can't hike all night.
No,
There's bears out there.
No, night. Yeah, right. But the bears, I guess maybe they'd be interested in the news too. Be like, hold on, Epstein killed himself.
Have you heard of the Epstein case?
They were not completing... They were marking down, I guess they have a system of like how often you're supposed to do these checks on the inmates or the prisoners, and they were not doing them and marking it down.
Oh, okay.
Which is maybe and probably a symptom of, obviously this federal lockup is understaffed and underfunded. Clearly, why do they have guys working super long? How do you have inmates dying in federal custody? Like that shouldn't happen at all. So that is just from those facts, you could already start pulling conspiracy theories like, oh, he killed himself.
Yeah. Well, because I read today too that the guards that were supposed to be watching were put on leave now because of this whole thing.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
They're in trouble.
Yeah.
But Like you had one job.
Like literally this guy was not supposed to die.
Yeah.
That was your only job.
Federal custody.
Yeah.
You're dead. And they haven't released the autopsy report yet. They did an autopsy. We don't know what the facts are yet.
Okay. That's going to be interesting when that comes out.
Sure.
If it comes out at all. That's
yeah. I mean, it probably will.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully.
If you don't release it, then you're only going to fuel the fire of it.
Yeah. But they fuel the fire a lot of the time with stuff like that.
Sometimes, yeah. Especially when it benefits them.
Yeah.
But so like he was in federal custody because finally the other shoe is dropped on this guy. He is a alleged, we could say alleged, I guess, because it's never going to be proven because he's dead. But pretty much he was a sexual abuser of young women.
Yeah. They're trying to get him with trafficking.
Sex trafficking. Yeah, he was known for coercing young women into being abused by himself and by other friends and acquaintances of his.
And it was like so much to the point where because he was like based out of New York and stuff. He had like a place there in Manhattan, I'm pretty sure, and everything, where it was like he would pay his employers and stuff basically to help get underage girls there as well.
Right.
And then they would eventually go to his island.
Yeah, he had a private island.
And everything.
Which has been visited, but we're kind of like, I don't know, the story backwards is interesting because I'm like kind of like having to think of it as I go.
Yeah.
But so he is, and another piece of why the conspiracy theory thing is just on fire right now is because of the company that this guy liked to keep. He was a collector of influential and rich and powerful friends.
He basically knew what he was doing.
I think so.
And like in the bigger picture of everything, he knew what he was doing for sure just by the company that he kept. He was a rich and powerful person himself.
Yeah.
Who surrounded himself
aspiring.
by I
think it's
And he surrounded himself with even more powerful people and showed them a good time. Yeah. And had some things in the background that these people did not know about, basically.
Yeah. Supposedly a lawsuit against him alleged that he has, actually, I don't know if it was from a lawsuit. We read up on the facts right before the show, and I didn't take notes, but
mental notes.
Either from a lawsuit or from some other source, supposedly, and again, everything in this story is going to be allegedly, supposedly, we don't know, and there's not going to be closure on it really for a lot of elements of it. But there is some, indication out there that the guy had hidden cameras in his properties, like on his island and probably other places, with the intent of having video evidence of these influential and powerful people that he would associate with and would, he would facilitate their, they would like, it basically was like a child prostitution, underage girl kind of thing.
There's like some, like what, I think the one accuser that came forward, she said she was like 14 at the time,
like
something like that.
Girls. I'm not talking about like 5-year-olds. Not that it really, we're splitting hairs here. It's still repulsive either way. But he supposedly was collecting video evidence of people who, for the purpose of like blackmail or having leverage over them or whatever. And much like a lot of people think that, this is a pattern, right? Because we're getting there. Who's the biggest known associate of Jeffrey Epstein? Go ahead.
There's a few. Trump is one of them,
right? And what pattern of facts there can you draw a connection with Donald Trump? There's another scumbag type of individual who supposedly, sort of, maybe has video evidence of him doing sexually, objectionable things,
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would harm his reputation,
right?
Just pointed out,
it's been there's been proof because like I think Trump tries to hide that stuff in the background that Epstein and him had a relationship at all. He does not he has not brought it up a whole lot about this whole
Here's
Epstein
a quote
thing.
from him. I was not a fan of his, that I can tell you.
Yeah,
I saw him say that.
But there's also been video footage of them.
Yeah, there's all kinds of pictures of them hanging out. And here is a quote, and I stopped here knowing I was going to get here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Donald Trump said in 2002, in an on-the-record comment to a journalist working for New York Magazine, he called Epstein, quote, terrific.
Yeah.
That's a quote.
Yeah.
Terrific. And that he, quote, likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the most famous quote by him. There's there's the video footage of them, I think. I don't know if he was at his Manhattan home or at the island, like, you know, where Jeffrey Epstein and him were like side by side, basically talking about how beautiful like the one woman is, like literally like an earshot away from them and stuff like that. So it's well known. There's like, they found his signature like on his jet to his island and stuff to where, you know, he visited and stuff.
Yeah. Bill Clinton too. Bill Clinton hung out with him.
Was, the Clintons.
Bill Clinton is known to have taken international trips on Epstein's plane.
Yeah.
In
had parties at his
years
island.
After he was president, he's known to have taken trips on the plane and supposedly a trip to Africa with Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker on the Epstein plane.
That's interesting.
That's a sitcom right
there. That's an
there.
interesting fucking trip right there.
Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey, Bill Clinton on a pervert pedophile plane.
Was Epstein there?
To Africa. I don't know. Probably.
That's interesting.
Doesn't say.
That sounds like a movie.
Yeah. And then on the Trump side, it says he attended Epstein events in New York and Florida. And Epstein, of course, was a big patron of the Mar-a-Lago Club all the time. So they both know him. Yeah. Now, here's the thing, the conspiracy theory, right? So we're unfolding this even more. You know, Epstein.
And I should also add a few things. This dude, Epstein, like, you know, Epstein was sick in the head because he liked underage girls and stuff. But he's went on record with his mindset saying like how he feels it's culturally inappropriate and terrible to judge people who like to have sex with underage girls, basically. Like, that's not verbatim like what he says, but it's damn near close to what he was basically saying. Like
it's so transparent.
It's weird.
Like,
it's really weird.
People really shouldn't judge people who maybe sort of like to have sex with children because those people are people too, not me. I'm not talking about myself.
It's like the modern day like online pedophiles who like people who know they're pedophiles and like they never act on it, but they still like are very open about having those thoughts and stuff. If you look it up on Twitter, it's a weird fucking thing, dude. I swear. It's I looked at it for like 10 minutes and I was like, I need to go shower now. This is just weird.
Are you looking at certain hashtags?
It's not hashtag. Like, I found an article about it somewhere and it listed like screenshots of like certain accounts that were like that. And I went to those accounts and I would just look at their tweets and I'm like, dude, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like,
I've seen that stuff too. I've seen like it's like the justification sort of for, you know, but although I'm all for pedophiles who know they're pedophiles and do what they have to do in order to not hurt anyone. Okay?
Right,
because like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert on pedophilia, but I never thought I'd be in a position where I'm making a statement like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the first time I've ever heard
that. I promise. I don't know anything about it at all, other than, you know, just what everyone else knows. But like, it's likely that it's not something that you choose to be. I mean, as much as people want to, like, why would you choose that?
Right.
It's like the worst fucking thing you could be. You know? Anything else is any other type of deviant or antisocial lunatic lifestyle would be an easier life than that, right? Because what happens if you get caught? Everything in your worst nightmares ever, right? Yeah. So I don't think people choose
a lot more bad things.
I mean, I don't know, maybe whatever. Because I'm like, and you know, that whole like mob mentality, kill the pedophiles, they choose to be perverts. I mean, I just find it hard to believe. Just like obviously, like my own experience being a drug addict and an antisocial scumbag, you know, a lot of my life, like I didn't choose that. No. Why would I choose that?
Right.
If I had a choice about it.
Right.
So,
no,
anyway.
like it's
but like I have respect for the ones that I've seen these communities of them on the internet and stuff, and like they're making an effort to not hurt people. Like, what, you know? Yeah,
that's definitely not a choice. It's like it's something that triggered, like something that happened in their life that triggers that sort of thing. And it's
some of them,
it's
a lot of them are abused themselves. Yeah, and stuff.
It's something that happened to you, fucked up in your childhood that makes you. It's like a weird thing.
They got
I don't
something
know how
wrong with their wiring. Something's fucked up. But anyway, that.
But there are some that control it and know that they're terrible people for having those thoughts and repress it as much as possible. Basically, they exist.
Right.
Like,
and that's the argument for. I've actually seen like people make. I mean, I couldn't think of what I was reading to pull it up, but that make the argument that like to some extent, some like child erotica material, like the like fake stuff, like either like I guess it'd be like computer generated or drawn or adults acting out stuff like that in order to like provide material for people who are going to be driven to consume that kind of stuff.
Right.
Is actually probably a good thing for them to like, because you would rather, I mean, just think about it. You've got a guy who's potentially dangerous to children. Would you rather have him, like draining the poison out to that kind of material, or to run the risk of actually out there acting out on the stuff, Yeah, but but the thing with child porn is like there's always going to be, just by it existing means a crime has been committed,
right?
Because there's a child being abused,
right?
Because a child can't consent to that. So,
well, that's like a lot of the things that they had, like when they raided Michael Jackson's estate and stuff, they found like certain tapes with like renderings of like they're like adults having sex and shit, but on their face it's like rendering of like a much younger looking
like
person,
a deep fake kind of thing before deep fake.
Yeah, basically, it's one of those things. It's like it's
now, is that kind of thing illegal?
I think it's like one of those gray area things, in all honesty, but
really?
I can't say that because I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah,
I've never had to really think about that much.
I don't know. My mind's telling me that it's probably illegal.
Yeah,
to even like mimic a child.
That's what I'm thinking.
In like an erotic type of movie.
Yeah,
I think so. But whatever.
How did we get here?
Well, I mean, we are talking about a pedophile.
Yeah.
But so Epstein collected these acquaintances. It's almost like in a way these guys were like prey for him.
Yeah.
He's a ladder climber.
Like I think he knew along the lines of what he was doing. Like no matter how much money you have and all that stuff, he knew he was probably going to go down at some point for this because the attention that he had on himself in the beginning and all these people that he was affiliating himself with, which brought more attention to him. Mm-hmm. So I think he knew all along that his world was going to crumble down. He was just enjoying it while he could. And not like, and so like he had all this on backlog. And so he's like, well, wait a minute. If you want to give me this, you can give me a lighter sentence. What if I give you this? Could you help me out with a lighter sentence? It's one of those things.
Speculating about what he would do with the blackmail material.
Right, exactly.
Although, maybe he already used it, and that's why he was as rich as he was.
Well, that's the thing.
Just existing, can't hurt having incriminating material from all the powerful people that you know.
Well, they raided his island yesterday. August 13th, they ended up raiding his island completely. Mm-hmm. So probably within the next few weeks, if they decide to release what they found, it'll be interesting. Even if they find
I highly
anything.
doubt that there's videos of Bill Clinton and Donald Trump committing crimes in that island.
Yeah, I mean probably, but it's like I feel like he just wasn't keeping those videotapes around in like a normal location to where anyone can find it. Like I'm sure like if they're searching it, they have to search pretty deep and hard to find those tapes if they even existed. But I mean, it's not just the Clintons that he like knew. Like I don't really know like a lot of other well-known.
Well, apparently Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker.
Yeah, he might have tapes of them.
That's the first I've even heard Chris Tucker's name anywhere near anything like this before. So who knows?
I'm sure he's probably trying to keep his like way out of this.
Yeah, Chris Tucker probably doesn't want to be.
He's like, man, it was one time I was on that plane. I didn't know whose plane it was.
We went to Africa with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey.
Bill just invited us, and we were like, okay, we're down.
Man,
it's a weird.
Now, be honest. Would you turn down a plane ride to Africa with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey? You go. You get on the plane.
I mean, yeah, probably.
That's a life experience.
But there's the thing with this, too. They probably, like we said, who knows if they even knew who Jeffrey Epstein was. It could just, like, because Bill Clinton was his friend normally.
I don't know. Maybe they rented. Maybe Clinton was borrowing the plane, or Spacey was, and just like, hey, Chris Tucker. And
yeah, because I don't even know if Spacey's really affiliated. I haven't heard about anything with Spacey being affiliated
Kevin
with
Spacey
him.
Obviously having his own issue, the whole, he was... let's see what happened with him. He was
accused of like touching an underage boy on set or something. I think those got dropped though, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they did too, but the charges got dropped or whatever. Yeah. But so that's, who knows? I don't even know what. There's so many like threads with this thing that like it's a minefield for people to read whatever they want to read,
literally
into it. But and since it touches into Clinton and Trump world, there is a huge element of, especially Trumpists like the red hats on the right, who love this conspiracy shit. Mm-hmm. Right-wing conspiracy theory nut has been like a job title and an identity for a long time before Trump.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there have been right-wing conspiracy nuts forever.
Yeah.
Forever. So, like, and it's just an intriguing, like, a dude kills himself in a place where it's supposed to be pretty much impossible to kill yourself and was taken off suicide watch just in time to actually kill himself.
Yeah.
Who maybe has dirt on. And, like, I love how, and it's like this is the remnants of all this, like, Russian meddling and how that, like, I saw that crap that they were doing on Facebook and Twitter in the 2016 election and fueling this like fucking crazy Clinton conspiracy stuff.
Yeah.
They would poke that as much as possible because it was a great vulnerability, right? So people love this shit. Like
they do.
The Pizzagate, comma pizza thing, the Clinton, this conspiracy theory that the Clintons are running a pedophile ring or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because you know what? Like Clinton, I can't say that he's not some kind of pedophile pervert. Right?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. It doesn't mean that I don't think he still did a good job as president.
No,
left office with a surplus in the budget. When's the last time that happened?
Exactly. That's what I always go back to because like I didn't mind Bill as a president at all. Like what he does, like, I don't know what he does behind closed doors half the time.
Right.
But I mean, it could be like he could be like involved in this stuff, for all we know. But like we don't know. That's the whole thing. But like it's just funny that like when all this came out, it was like the top trending thing whenever the story was out was like hashtag Clinton body count because of course like the Clintons are going to be put in that position to where it looks like they probably had something to do with his
suicided him.
Yeah, but every like Trump supporter who would say that never said anything about Trump being involved with
that.
Yeah, they ignored that whole fact of
he was a prisoner of the federal government.
Yeah,
who is in charge of the federal government right now?
Our boy,
who also is in all kinds of photos. Right next to this pedophile guy.
Trying to bury that story as much as he can, basically.
Of course. Like, and he was retweeting Clinton conspiracy shit because he knows, it helps. But every bit of... And the thing with this show is like, I don't know, I think anybody who's listened to it knows that like, you and I are pretty much like, I don't know, I'm like a liberal centrist kind of a dude on those things. And I mean like, real spectrum liberal, not like the fake American liberal and conservative, right? Where if you're liberal, you're a moderate, and if you say you're conservative, you're a fucking right wing fascist, basically. Because like the spectrum isn't like it's not true, and like in the lens of American politics,
right?
Like globally and historically, the far left is for like seizing and redistributing people's property.
Yeah.
Right. And nobody's for that. And in the normal spectrum, I mean, you could find some nut that wants to do that. But like in elected officials and in your normal people that you encounter, if they're far left, they aren't really far left.
Right.
They're kind of liberal.
Yeah.
But the super right-wing conservatives are full on, like, nationalist fascists, like as right wing as you can be in the true 100%. Spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And like that's the thing with this show is like I brought that up to even say that like with this show, like it's not a political show. We do talk about things that are political, but it's just like
it's hard not
trying
to
get outside of this like the stupid tribal back and forth thing because people take it as an identity because they don't have any other real identity for some reason,
right?
Which is probably another problem. People don't have anything real to feel good about themselves or whatever, so you got to latch on to something like that.
Exactly.
I get that. We do get fired up about political topics sometimes. We have our opinions and we share them because it's our show, and of course we're going to say what we think. But like, I never wanted this show when we started it, and we've never talked about this, but like, and we've talked a lot about the information crisis and stuff. like when I get fired up and when we do stories like this, like for me, like that's what I'm not trying to fight the right wing or whatever. Me being like a liberal, I'm like a pretty much like a centrist, honestly.
Yeah.
With like a little left centrist, pretty unremarkable on most things, you know, because I have some pretty extreme views on the drug thing and stuff like that, but that's an outlier for me mostly.
Yeah.
And you're a pretty liberal dude too, but not crazy. You're not
I'm more like libertarian,
communist or anything.
No.
Now, like when I get fired up, I'm not trying to bash against people who are politically opposed in ideology to me or bash the right wing.
No, yeah.
What I want to bash is this fucking fog of horse shit that gets spread out there. Like, if you're going to be mad about something, like, be mad about true facts that are real. Like, there are facts out there that you can know. Like, it's not just, you know, and people just have I think a lot of people are defenseless. They're defenseless against this, like, conspiracy theory stuff.
Yeah.
And most people so casually read the news, and there's just so much fucking garbage out there. Like, I'm not going to say fake news. It's just the way that, like, the industry out there for media works with the internet.
Oh, no, yeah.
Like, anybody can make a website. You can buy a URL and just put up a website with WordPress for like you could host it for, I don't know, get a Google domains for like $15 a month or whatever.
Less than that sometimes.
Cheaper than that. Set up a website with WordPress. Just call it, you know, like Numbnuts News.
Yeah.
And you can put up anything you want and make it look as legit as your creativity can let you. And then if the headline is clickbaity enough and it gets people to draw in and read it, and it satisfies like the search engine's algorithms for what they look for when they want to serve people search results, if you can nail the SEO, then boom, you've got a fucking news story.
Oh, 100%
that is
agree.
going to reach most people who are casually, like, if it's huge. And then, like, here's the thing, since a lot of that industry now, like, people don't pay. It used to be newspapers and like the news,
right?
You know, which was almost like a public service, like back in the 70s. You know, they were pretty unbiased, and so you had people who would argue with each other, but they had this baseline of like, we agreed with, okay, like, this is what happened, right? You know, I might disagree about what to do about it, but now, since all that's gone, you know, you don't have the ability to just have common ground with someone, right? Because it's like, you've got your reality and I've got all the shit that the algorithms on my phone show me. Like, a lot of, like, you know, and I like to use the right wing as the butt of the joke, like right wing people, because
it's easy.
They fucking make it easy. Yeah. You know, they're frothing at the mouth about things that are just so dumb and made up, not even real. It's like, I don't even entirely blame them, a lot of them. Like, I've said this before. It's like they're kind of a victim of what's going on. Yeah. Like the algorithm on your phone. And then, now Fox News is a whole nother, that is one insidious operation there, you know, straight up just feeding people propaganda.
Well, you
lies.
can say the same with Breitbart and shit like that.
Yeah, that whole machine, you know, Breitbart, fucking Alex Jones. Alex Jones, I think, is a little an outlier because he's wacky.
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
He's not, because InfoWars is like, they act like it's a legit journalism source, they use like they make it act like it's a legit news, and everything they say is right. So they are definitely at the top of that.
Alex Jones has a platform, or he's taken some damage, but he's still doing his thing. Yeah, as far as I know. He's got a platform that a lot of people think is legit, but like, it's because the only way you used to pay, like, newspapers and journalists, like, the money in that business would come from subscriptions. People would pay the subscription. Now that's over because, you know, the internet, like, it's democracy of information, for better or worse. And right now I'd say it's for worse. We need to figure something out and fix this, because, like, things as we know it are not going to last forever. No. If we continue down that kind of a path, because it's just, we're seeing the consequences now. Yeah. Basically, another country hijacked the narrative of, you know, they tried to. There's no evidence that, you know, Russia actually changed any votes, but they didn't have to. They hijacked, like, the conversation using this system that nobody really created on purpose. It's just kind of the way it is. Now, news, like, say you are a legitimate career journalist who sticks to journalist ethics and stuff like that. Yeah. you are stuck in your shit is going to go right next to Alex Jones and right next to our Numbnuts News site that we just made up, right? Where we just make up anything we want. You're right next to it, and the only way to make any money is through ads and clicks. Yeah. So the incentive is to just get people to click on stuff. Mm-hmm. You can't just survive if you're gonna, if it's just the boring facts. Like, I don't know how the AP exists. I assume somebody's taking a big loss.
I don't know
somewhere.
how that's.
But yeah, Associated Press. I mean, a lot of news sources always use the AP, per the AP. This is what happened, right?
Yeah.
I love it though. I would recommend that to anybody if you are even some of those apps. Like, I think there's one called Smart News and stuff.
I don't even.
There's
know
apps
that,
out. There's
honestly.
even one built in on my phone, and I can tell it. There's algorithms in it. It's just the standard news feed thing on my phone.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
If you could just go over on the main screen, it feeds you it feeds me news stories from all kinds of different sources, right?
Yeah, it does for me
and I'm
too.
looking at it. It shows what it chooses what it feeds you based on what you've clicked on before. There's algorithms. So you're being fed what it thinks you want to click on, and not necessarily everything that's out there.
Right.
Know? And so that's why I use the AP app, because it's just pretty fucking boring and straight up and down.
Yeah, it's just straightforward with everything, basically.
So I would recommend that to anybody.
Well, that's why it's just so it's so shitty to be a journalist anymore, dude. Is because you basically just said anyone can be a journalist if they want to anymore.
A journalist.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
That's the whole. I'm gonna let you in on a secret, and Darksiders in on a secret. That was the point of Dark Side News.
Yeah,
when we started doing that.
Yeah,
we've got the serious Dark Side News music.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
Do.
And I do the intro thing, and then we just do these fucking absurd stories. Really, if you put that audio, now we look like fucking jabronis, but if you put the audio next to any other news source, it doesn't sound that different. Dark Side News, welcome to the internet's most trusted. So that's the whole point.
Right.
I mean, it was just me trolling because that's what's going on out
literally
there.
Yeah. But we make
insane.
it, and we're not we never say that we're legit journalists or anything. It's just
this is
what we do for our spare time.
Though.
Yeah.
There's no consequences. You can say whatever you want.
Literally. It's just it.
And until someone stops you, you just keep saying whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
In other news, Donald Trump turns into giant radioactive reptile.
That's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, there you go. Run with that. You could say anything. Anybody can say anything.
Yeah.
And if it's if you have a little skill, because there's skill in crafting a hook narrative.
Yeah.
Something that people want to click on. Mm-hmm. If you've got a little creative juice.
If you're good at writing, it's all you got to do. If you're creative and you're good at
English
writing,
nerds that got A's in writing class and stuff. Your time is now.
Yeah.
Although,
it's just,
it's crazy, this conspiracy theory shit, and
but some of them I love at the same time. It's I don't know, some of them are just outright outrageous, but the stuff the Epstein one and stuff I can see it happening. It makes total sense to me.
Who knows?
Because when he was arrested and taken down, I figured he was gonna die no matter what, just because of what everyone kind of knew. He was.
You really thought that when he got arrested?
I thought it was gonna happen.
Fucking dead.
Yeah, I didn't think it would happen this quickly, but I knew he was gonna die or either. I figured he was just gonna die because there was he had too much information on people to the point where if he wanted to have his sentence lighter or anything, or just be a dick and take people down with him, because he's hey, if I'm going down, I'm gonna take everyone down, basically. Right. He probably had a lot of evidence on people.
Sure.
Just from what we know and everything.
I mean, even the fact that story's out there, even if it's not true, you might have had cameras.
Yeah.
To play devil's advocate, that's what we're doing. Play devil's advocate to the conspiracy thing. If I'm a rich and powerful and apparently morally repulsive person so I used to hang out with Epstein. I patronized his child pornography store.
Yeah.
Or not pornography, his child prostitution. Right?
There's a gift shop in the island.
Maybe he has a gift shop. Yeah, it's the roller coaster, the camera thing. Where you're you can buy it for $45,000.
Those are the cameras that were hidden.
if I'm that guy, and then I see a story that dude might have had cameras all over the island, and I know that I committed a sex crime down there
that could ruin your life.
If I have the ability, it's like Walter White with the witnesses, and I mean, I'm not letting it. You can take that chance.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta like.
But again, at the same time, odds are if that shit's out there, they're gonna find it anyway. The only thing you would really prevent is him testifying to try and get himself a better deal.
Right.
So, but like. Seriously, who has the ability to have someone suicided in a federal lockup?
The government.
I mean, I don't know. I guess anything could happen if you've watched enough like TV shows or whatever.
Yeah, basically.
But like, who the fuck really knows?
But there's other conspiracy theories saying that like they switched his body out. It wasn't really him. Like they kind of got him out of like that
because something like that is based on thin air. That's based on nothing.
Yeah. That's the one that like, I completely don't agree with. I literally think they killed him because he knew
You're
too
just
much.
Open to the idea that maybe someone killed him. And
that's what I like.
And
I
don't take it any further than that.
Nah, like I don't think he killed himself really. Like
it's again based on people jumping to conclusions that push their agenda based on circumstantial evidence that's sort of kind of plausible.
Yeah,
which is pretty much just you see that all the time.
Yeah,
in the public narrative that we have to fucking suffer through these days. Now. Myself, I think the most likely thing that happened is the facility was underfunded. Somebody fucked up, wasn't watching him when they were supposed to. He knows that he's fucked because he's got all these witnesses that are going to testify against him, and he killed himself because he doesn't want to stick around for that. He knows he's fucked.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get, gangbanged to death in jail, in prison.
But remember, we talked about this though, that they like separate.
Dude, they still get fucking murdered in prison though. Like,
well, yeah.
Especially like, all it takes is a guard who has enough credit card debt or whatever, doesn't make enough money, and a prisoner who has some extra cash to like, hey, like, why don't you take an extra lunch break today?
Yeah. That's true too. Yeah. I mean, it happened. Like either way, like I figured the dude was gonna die no matter what. It was just like
hey, I'll give you some credit. I wasn't even thinking that. Of course, I wasn't thinking too much about this anyway.
Well, I didn't at first, like, because like I did when it first came out, like when they arrested him and stuff. I was like, oh wow, that's kind of been a long time coming. Let's see what happens with it, because like I said, like of all the connections that he had in his life, and it's either like, okay, well the two thoughts in my mind were, okay, he's either going to end up dead or he's going to testify to lighten his sentence a little bit and bring all these other people down.
I just thought of something else that even would lend more credibility to the Trump did it. Do you remember? So before Epstein killed himself, a few months back when it was first hitting the news. So right now he was like about to be tried with some stuff.
Right.
However, a few months back, he was in the news because he was getting a sweetheart of a deal, and people were fucking outraged that he wasn't really having to pay any consequences for all this stuff that they had, all the child sex crimes that they had evidence of, because a Trump administration official made the call previously to give him the okay to let the deal go. And that guy had to resign in disgrace, a Trump administration official. Now, the guy did that. I think this was in Florida. The guy... he okayed this crazy lenient like plea deal for some stuff that was going on with Epstein, just to make it go away, basically. And I remember reading an article about it. It was a big travesty that like his victims weren't getting justice. The guy's just doing some like ridiculous, he's paying fines and barely doing any jail time or anything like that, if any. I forget the details, but that's why we need that dark side intern. If you're looking for rewarding unpaid work, give us a call.
Yeah, you're not getting paid.
No, we don't even get paid.
Yeah.
So that guy had to fucking resign. He later became a Trump administration official. I don't remember what the guy's name was or what the position was, but he had to resign for that.
Right. Interesting. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That's the first place I heard of Epstein, was from those stories.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know who he was.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let alone that he's taken a African pedophile plane ride with Chris Tucker and Kevin Spacey and Bill Clinton.
I
still want to see that show. What would you call the show? You got a name for it yet? We'll think of one before the end.
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't know. I don't have any ideas yet. But
yeah.
It's a tough one.
The Rains of Africa. I don't know.
Nah, that's not it.
Yeah. I just stole that from a Toto song.
No, really?
Yeah. God bless the rains down in Africa.
I was being sarcastic. Name one other Toto song.
I don't fucking know.
Right.
I hate that song.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's played out.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna say something else, but I kind of lost track of.
Yeah. So Epstein, suicide, intrigue abound. Donald Trump in charge of the government.
Yeah, it's just gonna be
Clinton
interesting.
Probably did some unsavory things with this guy. Maybe kind of.
It's just interesting to see what's gonna if they release the autopsy, if they release if they found anything. I mean, they're probably not gonna release anything that they found on his island or anything, just because it'll probably keep it hush hush depending on what they find. Mm-hmm. But wouldn't it be funny if the only tapes they found were Bill Clinton tapes? Those are the only tapes that would be there and shit. Right. That would be it. We told you it was the Clintons.
Yeah, the FBI. It's all we found.
Yeah.
Although then it comes out that the FBI didn't even go in there. It was just Trump sent Donald Jr. to the island. We found these tapes and off with his head.
And apparently the island wasn't that great, people, because if you Google it, it only has a 1.9 star review. So I don't know.
I love that. How many reviews did it have?
Only 19.
Is it Yelp reviews?
It's it's just 19, and people were just it's just people who are political retards just fucking commenting on it and said, I heard they have great pizza there and stuff because of a Pizza Gate. Ha ha ha. It's not 2015 anymore. I'm sick of hearing things about fucking Pizzagate and
pizza,
everything.
But
I'm sick of hearing about the fucking Clintons too.
Yeah, right. It's just a rallying cry for the Red Hats. That's all.
I don't understand. They haven't been in office for fucking. And they have no plans of running.
Stop being relevant on election day 2016.
Yeah.
I mean, after that,
and there's no. They have no chance of even running. So what the fuck? Why
they don't want to, nor are they.
Yeah, why? I don't understand the whole Clinton thing. Oh, there's blood on their hands. Okay, there's probably blood on many other politicians' hands. Yeah. Even if it is true, okay, we get it. Stop.
Yeah, but it again, it's just it helps to adhere the Red Hat Trumpist movement together. They love that, I don't know, man.
It's annoying. That cult shit's just getting old to me.
They start to sound like still harping on the Clinton thing. It just seems like you're literally just insane.
You're just beating a dead horse.
Frothing at the mouth.
You're literally beating a dead horse.
But this horse
flat.
Never actually died or existed.
Yeah.
They're beating a picture of a dead horse.
With no frame.
Yeah.
Just a plain old picture.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's the Epstein thing, going backwards. I mean, if you look at the guy's history, to finish the whole going backwards thing, he started out as a math and physics teacher back in the 70s.
That's interesting.
When I was looking, I kind of went back. I skipped.
So he's a smart dude, basically. He knows his shit.
I mean, yeah, he's pretty
If
pretty
you're a
cunning.
physics teacher, you kind of got to know some things about
physics. Yeah, he's pretty cunning.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you one thing about physics. Gravity.
There you go. You did it.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
That's not physics.
I know.
Okay.
That's the Pythagorean theorem.
Fun fact, Jeffrey Epstein was one half of the ownership of a company called, I think it was Tower Financial Corporation.
Yeah.
Tower Financial.
I think that's what you told me. Tower Financial.
Formed in the late 80s, dissolved in the early 90s, and is one of the largest Ponzi schemes in American history. Classic. Now, Epstein left this company. He, along with one other partner, started this corporation. They used it to try and do corporate raids and take over certain companies. Pan Am, remember that company?
Yeah.
They tried to take over Pan Am using this Tower Financial as a vehicle to do it. Unsuccessful. Didn't happen. But Ponzi scheme that it was. Supposedly they defrauded some like $450 million out of their investors. Now, Ponzi scheme, a lot of people, when you say Ponzi scheme or any kind of scheme, a lot of people think pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
You know, like the Cutco stuff or like multi-level marketing, like
buy our juice.
Right. Where you buy the dark side supplements.
Yeah.
And then sell them to all your family and then go broke. That's the pyramids. Everybody's familiar with that because all your asshole friends from high school on Facebook are trying to sell you like hair dryers and stuff for 20 times the retail price.
Every time like I would get someone messaging me about like an opportunity they have for me, I'm
an opportunity.
Like, no.
Yeah.
I have an opportunity
the word
already.
Opportunity should be in the spam filter.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got this marketing opportunity for you. Like, no.
I just need $3,000 to get it up and going. No.
That's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
A Ponzi scheme is a little different. That's where you use money from new investors to pay back
old investors.
The old investors, and you just keep it going.
Genius.
You just keep it going. See, the thing is, like, there's this certain class of scumbag that this Epstein is definitely one of.
Yeah.
That you just like, you have a certain amount of money, you put yourself in a certain office in the right place, and carry yourself in a certain way, say the right words, and people will just give you millions of dollars, which you can then just do the most simplistic, dumb fucking ways to rip people off. And they're just like, huh. Like, it's like, hey, Dave, you want to invest in my financial, it's an investment opportunity. You can make back double your money.
Okay.
In a certain period of time. Okay, so you give me $1,000. Then I go, hey, Tyler, I got this investment opportunity for you. You're gonna make back double your money. You know, give me $1,000. So then I start making payments to you with his $1,000.
I mean, as long as I get my I don't give a fuck. Like,
but you only ever get back maybe what you made and a little something.
Yeah.
But eventually and they also will pull money repeatedly from these guys too.
Yeah.
And then I just go to the next guy. Hey, got this investment opportunity.
They're basically just like top tier salesmen. That's just how it is.
Salesmen. Con artists.
Yeah.
Who else do we know that's one of those?
I mean, there's a whole list of them probably. I know.
Trump. Of that class of people.
I know. Yeah, but
like,
I think we all know that.
We've been bamboozled. We've fallen for the biggest con job in all of history.
We've been Smeckledorfed.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Smeckledorfed. Up and down.
Yeah. That's a SpongeBob quote, if you didn't know.
Yeah. Depressing.
It is.
Smeckledorfed.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
It's funny, though, at the same time. I don't know. It's been a wild ride.
Oh, God.
It's getting worse, though.
It's likely we're only
like,
in year 3 of 8, so...
Yeah, it's literally like... We're like halfway up the hill on the roller coaster.
Not even there yet.
And like...
We are not even halfway yet.
Like the adrenaline's still pumping. It still seems like it's a fun time, even though most of us know it's not. But, you know... I don't know.
I was just saying to somebody yesterday, if Mitt Romney had actually won that election in 2012, I hate to say it because he was the wrong choice.
Mm-hmm.
But given the factors that are in play in the background, you know, people's like crazy frustration and people being racist and people being angry, because we've talked a lot about Trump, the whole Trump thing, that everything's been going on for the past few years is like a kickback reaction to Obama being in office for 8 years.
Yeah.
It brought all this crap to the surface, along with a lot of other factors. If Romney had won, I think that our situation now would be a lot better.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, not because he would have done a better job, but he would have done a lot less of a shitty job than what we got now. And it would have eased all of this, like, super angry, like... Because I really think that. It might sound simplistic and it might sound kind of, like, petty or whatever, but I really think that's a big part of this whole Trump thing. Like, why a lot of people are willing to give anything a chance because they just felt fed up that there was a black dude in office.
Yeah.
So they're willing to sign on with anything, no matter how crazy it is.
Yeah.
Whoever
weird.
seems to be as angry as they are about it, you know?
Nah, yeah, you're right.
I think if Romney... Now, that isn't even realistic because it wasn't even that close of an election. Mitt Romney got pretty much shellacked
in
2012. But it's just a thought I was having, because people would be like, you think about like the type of person who's angry that there's a black guy in office and now they're ready to do something drastic.
Yeah.
Sign on with anybody else who
of this country.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. Now, if it was like, okay, we did the black guy thing for like, that's the message that you would say instead of, they're going to take your daughters and make her a sex slave in the Mexican fucking work prison. Like, I think that's what people think. Oh. They have this like base fear of like anything like, and that, like, they're socialists. They're going to come and steal all your fucking property and family members and force them into prostitution on Jeffrey Epstein's island.
That's social. That doesn't sound too bad at all.
What? Wait. What? Being sold into prostitution?
I guess so. I mean, you got to get the money somehow.
You're a lefty. You're a libtard. You socialist. Anyway,
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with socialism in the first place, anyway. But it's like,
well, dude, people don't. That's another big fucking thing. Socialism gets used as a symbol for anything that is bad.
Yeah.
And people don't even know what the definition of it is.
Right.
You like Medicare? Socialism. You like having a weekend and child labor laws? It's fucking socialism.
Yeah.
You like, I don't know, seatbelts in your cars? There would not be any laws that required there to be seatbelts. That's a socialist idea, right? It's the opposite of free market capitalism, right? It costs them money. They are compelled by the law, the companies, to do things that cost them money to keep the consumer safe. They would not be doing that. They would have never started doing it unless they had to. And that right there is a socialist, it's not like, oh, we're a socialist country now, but those ideas come from socialism, right?
Right.
Boom.
I think people more get like the socialism thing mixed up with communism.
And they don't know what that means either. They were doing the same thing with the word communism back in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah. Because like I hear a lot of people talk about like socialism now. It's like, they don't want it to begin with because like, they don't like, a lot of people say like the government can control like everything that you like consume. You wouldn't have like a lot of free choice.
But again, think about it.
Stuff.
Who in the world, even the most insane left-wing candidate for anything that you've ever heard of that only got 1% of the vote was saying, I propose a law that the government's going to control everything we can buy. Who the fuck would do that?
Yeah, no. But like, I think...
How would that ever get through? No one wants that.
Right.
Why would that ever happen? It's just this boogeyman, okay? It's just insane. Right?
No, yeah.
The right wing makes up this boogeyman thing that doesn't exist, that no one actually wants, and then fights it. And then they just attach that stuff that they made up to their political opponents, and they use it to get gullible people who are misinformed to follow them.
Right.
They use these tactics to get poor people who are financially in bad shape to vote for politicians who do things that make their lives worse. Financially.
Yeah.
Okay? They make poor people worse off. But poor people vote for them because of that.
That's what happened with Trump, basically. So, I mean,
sure.
Look at all the places that he would tour.
He was in Monaco yesterday.
Yeah. Well, and the only reason he's in Monaco probably is the cracker plant that they're building up there.
The cracker plant, right.
Yeah.
And I read, and by the way, as if I don't already have enough reason to not like the orange guy, I had to spend an hour sitting on the runway getting off the plane yesterday because Trump's plane leaving the airport delayed our landing. We had to sit in a holding pattern until Air Force One or whatever he was riding to get out of there. Then we landed, and then a lightning alert happened, and we couldn't get off the plane for like an hour.
That's shitty. At least you had your switch, though.
It was dead.
Oh.
But yeah, so that's how Donald Trump personally inconvenienced me yesterday.
Damn.
So that he could go up to Monaco.
Yeah, what was he even doing up there?
I'll tell you what he was doing about there. I read about it before we left Yellowstone to come back to Pittsburgh yesterday, that he was going to be in Monaco giving a speech supposedly about jobs and whatever at the cracker plant. So Shell's opening up this plant in north of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's like an hour away.
An hour away up in, I guess, Beaver County.
Yeah.
Manassas and Beaver County.
Beaver Falls, whatever it is.
Beaver Falls. But it was a Trump district, in 2016. Pittsburgh's not. The city isn't. Of course, most cities aren't. But so it's a plant that is going to use fracked natural gas, which Pennsylvania is the second biggest state for that in the country. They're going to use that and turn it into plastic. And cracking is just that's a word for like the chemical process that they do to the molecule to turn it. They turn the gas into a precursor to plastics.
Yeah.
It's going to become the second biggest air polluter in the state.
Yeah.
Once it's running. And Trump was up there lying to them in a speech about, and I know this because I'm not exaggerating in the least. This is just the straight facts.
Yeah.
I read about what he actually said in his speech after we landed because I had nothing the fuck else to do because I'm sitting on the runway. He was up there giving a speech that was supposed to be about, how, economic jobs, whatever the fuck he always talks about.
Yeah.
Clean coal. They take the coal out and they clean it. He said he took the opportunity to complain about all the lawsuits that he's having to pay legal fees for on all the emoluments clause trouble that he's in for still being in business and profiting in his businesses from his position as president,
right?
Which is crazy illegal.
So I was gonna say it's
disqualifying.
It's highly illegal. In the
he's
first
complaining
place.
about that in the speech.
Yeah,
and then the other thing that he talked about is essentially he said this shell plant. Ding dong, got a package, I guess.
Cool.
This shell plant. He said basically it wouldn't exist without me, Donald Trump, and without you guys, my supporters.
No, it would though.
Well, here's how much it would. This plant, Shell announced their plans to build this plant in what year? 2016? No. 2015? No. 14? No. 13? No. 2012.
Yeah, it didn't start. The production didn't start, I think, until when was that? Because my union works for them. They were a lot of people that are in the union are hired up there for them, and I'm pretty sure it started at least 3 years ago because it's a 5-year project in itself.
Anyway, yeah. So he's up there just telling a bunch of bullshit lies, and it made me have to sit on a plane for an hour.
That's great. I didn't even know he was up there. In all honesty,
yeah,
that sucks.
But anyway, that's all we got for this week.
Yeah.
Let us know what other crazy conspiracy theory shit that you guys can dig up.
Yeah, I want to hear more of these Epstein ones that I don't even probably know about yet. There's probably so many out there.
A lot of good memes out there about it too, like you were saying.
The memes are pretty gold.
Yeah. But all right, so that's it. Catch us on Instagram, Dark Side Podcast on there. Dark Side Podcast Official on YouTube, where we put the video every week of our show.
Yeah.
And
beautiful faces.
Send us a DM. Yell at us about the things that we've said.
Yeah.
What do we always say about that?
No dick pics.
That's right. No dick pics. And
someone
remember,
I haven't checked the I haven't checked the DMs in a couple weeks. In all honesty, I've been slacking on the marketing side of the stuff recently. But Man of Constant Sunburn sent a picture of Richard Nixon, and he said, "Sorry, no dick pics." Those are fine, I guess, but
you can send us Nixon pictures. In fact, we would like to see those.
Yeah, I don't mind Nixon pictures.
Yeah, but don't forget the 3 R's of success: rate, review, subscribe. Succession. Jeff Sessions. Just loose association.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we have for this week. My name's Matt Elias.
Daviano.
Later.